Okay, so today just going to show you the way I go on and try to find some areas that might be easy to create a trail. It may not be an area you want to do a trail. There's areas you do or do not want to have access. But if you want to try to find some areas or easy ways to on a property to find some easy ways to maybe cut a trail in, there's ways that you can find some areas on your property. And I want to show you, starting off with Google Earth. I use Google Earth a lot. And so right here on this property, this is a property we've got, South Carolina. And it's at a cutover. So it's about a 2.5, 3 year old cutover. And you can see, obviously, drag lines where they skidded timber in these areas right along here. And some of those areas can be rutted up, some of them not. Maybe worth looking at. There's some, here's one similar coming in at an angle. So these both come at an angle and meet right in this area here. And so I just wanted a straight route. I wanted to cut over a shortcut route between this road into here. And so that's all I wanted to do, is I wanted to go from those 2 points. What I did is I go back and I said, well, I don't see any. I see those 2 skidder routes coming in at angles. What else can we find? And if you go back, I knew these were planted pines. You can look back, and what I do is I use historical photos to try to find images to see what the trees looked like before they were cut, because of the fact that when they did some thinning in prior years, they probably had some open routes. And if you look at the older photos, especially this one right here, okay, so that was right after the thinning. And so you notice what we've got right here is a pretty good route. It was a early takeout route or a skid route going back to the loading dock area. And so I'm going to, and it may have been a trail or a road there before even those trees were even planted, 30 some odd years ago. And so what I do is I map that out. I see that. I might even make it more bold. So there you go. That's just an idea where it might be today. And so I'll kind of go, and aerial images can change. They can be distorted depending on where the image was taken at the time, because there's curvature to the earth, and depending on where the camera is looking down, and the distance from where the image was at, it can change. I can show you that. I mean, see it shift right there. It shifted, roughly to us what looks like might be 10 or so feet. So anyway, that's just a ballpark. What I'll do is I'll then take this line, this KML or KMZ line that I've created. I'll download it into some mobile app on my device to find out in the field. You can use OnX, you can use the ArcGIS collector, you can use Google Earth app, you can use a lot of things you can use. And I'll go out there and locate that supposed area. And what I did, and I'll show you here, and I'll show you also in a video, but I'm going to show you after we came in and cut that trail. I had some drone imaging done. One of the individuals that does some drone imaging for us, she does a great job. And so this is the trail right here. So here we had this main road coming in, some of the old loading docks. We had this other trail opened up with a grinder, mulching head grinder. And then while he was there, I already had it flagged. We got a short cut through going between the 2 roads. Now we don't have to go all the way back over here. We're going to go all the way down here. And I've got another cut through I made. It's kind of very similar. I found those areas. And what I'm looking for, the reason I want to find those areas is because they don't have as much big stumps. The if you look back, these trees were taken out. We know, at least if the road wasn't already there, these trees were taken out when these trees were originally thinned back in 2006. So these trees were thinned back in 2006. That's 14 years they've had to rot any stumps out. And these stumps back then were, anywhere between 6 to maybe 14 inches. And so they've had plenty of time to rot. So there's no huge stumps in that projected path that I got right there. And so we can easily go through there and mulch it with a grinder and have a quick way to cut through. And we also may start the part of what may be eventually a food plot or dove field on the upper end of the property. And that's just an easy way for me to kind of start the process of cleaning this place up. So I'll find places like that and decide whether I want to put a cut through trail or a route. Again, this isn't a heavy use road. It's not like our main road here. This is going to be just a kind of a every now and then cut through bush hog, but it's a good way to open it up. And you'll see in just a minute how it looks out in the field. Okay, so we're out on the property that we had went out and looked at originally before we bought it. And I looked at it on aerial imaging, did a kind of a quick inventory on desktop review, came out, looked at the property, mapped it out, and this is one of the roads we had seen on the aerial imaging. It was kind of grown up. It was by the time we got out here, you could hardly even walk through it with the briars and trees. And then I flagged it out, brought got the guys to bring the grinder in here. They ground the trail out. I've overseeded it in some rye, winter rye, and we got this connector route here. Now this wasn't an original road. This was a drag line that was leading over to the loading docks. So I kind of marked that out on the app that I use, or actually on the aerial imaging, and then downloaded it into the app. Came out here, looked at where it was at on the app and located it, flagged it, and so they came out here with the grinder. Had no large stumps. It just kind of went right through the brush. So out in this clear cut, there's bigger stumps. If you look right over to the side, there's these bigger stumps. These are probably 16 to 20 inch diameter, depending on where you're at. Some of these are 16 to 20 inch in diameter, and we wanted to try to avoid these because these are only about they're still pretty solid, and we want to try to avoid them because it takes longer to grind them. And we wanted to focus on the areas that we could grind quickly and not have those stumps left, and not have to bring a dozer in and everywhere we have to go. We did bring a dozer in and worked on some of the main road areas, but just a quick desktop review helped me figure out where those large stumps were, or may not be, kind of using the skidders and drag lines for the logging, and also some older roads that all they needed to do is just kind of open back up with a grinder. So that's what we've done so far at the property. I'm going to go out today and map some more control points. These are points that I want to get to or may want to access via road or trails.